Just when I thought the NBA couldn't be any more predictable, this season came to make my day. Welcome to my predictions for the regular season trophies, playoff predictions, and NBA Finals championships predictions. This year is going to be a fun one. The Western Conference, the Memphis Grizzlies. I don't have much to say about this team other than it's sad to see Mark Gasol waste away his career on a team that has now lost 12 straight games. You guys are out tanking both the Hawks and the Suns. What are you doing? Phoenix Suns. Despite these guys being objectively terrible, I do see them getting out of the hole in the near future. They've got plenty of cap space, and Alfred Frayton looks like a steal. If Josh Jackson can become a valuable paint defender as a small forward and Devin Booker can bring that scoring aspect to at least 70 of the 82 games, this team can go places. Dallas Mavericks. It's a sad day for me and Mavericks fans everywhere. You have the most down-to-earth and loyal veteran in Dirk Nowitzki, and you're wasting his final years tanking for talent. In fact, Mark Cuban has ordered his team to stop winning games. That is pathetic and disgusting. Sacramento Kings. Much like the Phoenix Suns, I see a future for the Kings. You've got young talent in Hield, Fox, Mason III, as well as producing veterans that can speed up the development of the young talent in Vince Carter, Zach Randolph, and Joe Johnson. In 3 years, we could see the Kings replicate their 2002 counterpart, and that's damn impressive. The Los Angeles Lakers. This team confuses the hell out of me. They've got the talent and the veteranosity to be a great team, yet they're currently 11th in the West with a 27-34 record. I'm not even going to get into the drama of this organization either. Magic Johnson has got to focus on winning games and not pleasing LeVar Ball. That's all I gotta say about this godforsaken franchise. Utah Jazz. And now we transition into teams that are competing for the playoffs. With Utah, so far as Donovan Mitchell and Ricky Rubio stay healthy and continue to produce for the Jazz, I can see them snagging the 8th or 7th seed. It's quite impressive to see a team that's so invested in a rookie. LA Clippers. It's honestly depressing to see such a talented and consistent team constantly underachieve. Now that 2 parts of Lob City are gone and have been replaced with prospects, this team may have a bright, distant future, but right now things are looking rough. I don't even think they'll make the playoffs. Denver Nuggets. With Nikola Jokic and Paul Millsap as your front court, I have no issues with this team making the playoffs. However, they may be the 8th seed, which means getting your asses handed to you by the Rockets or Warriors. That's just tough luck. New Orleans Pelicans. It is tragic when a player with such high potential like DeMarcus Cousins hurts his Achilles tendon. Only a handful of players have ever come back from such an injury. Regardless, I still think the Pelicans are good enough with Anthony Davis, Nikola Mirotic, and Rajon Rondo to make some noise in the playoffs, even if they do end up playing against a team like the Spurs, Warriors, or Rockets. Minnesota Timberwolves. With Jimmy Butler out for the rest of the regular season with a knee injury, it is entirely up to both Andrew Wiggins and Karl Anthony Towns to replace a defensive lacking squad to survive the rest of the regular season and live to fight another day in the playoffs. They've already dropped from 4th to 6th, and with a race so tight, things are looking hectic for the T-Wolves. OKC Thunder. If not for Paul George's astounding performance on defense, I would have counted the Thunder out of the second round. Good news for Thunder fans, everyone is stepping up and playing like professionals out there. This is a dangerous team. Do not underestimate them. San Antonio Spurs. It's a damn shame that Kawhi Leonard has been out for the majority of the season. Regardless, this Spurs team is so talented that they are still top-tier talent even without him. Kudos to the Spurs for staying relevant for over 20 years. Few teams have ever done that. I mean, think about it. That's my entire lifetime that they have stayed relevant. That's damn impressive. The Portland Trailblazers. Speak of a team that came out of nowhere, the Portland Blazers have won their last 5 games and are currently 3rd in the West at 36-26. If they keep this up, they could see Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum making a deep playoff run. How fun would that be to watch? I don't know about you, but when the Warriors and Blazers played one another last year in the playoffs, that was an entertaining series. Even if the Warriors did sweep Portland, this type of competitiveness between that duo is fun to watch. Golden State Warriors. The defending champions have just won their last 5 games and are out to repeat with all the way they've been playing. Hell, even if they were to rest their starters for the rest of the regular season, I'm sure that they would still be the number 2 seed and still be a force to reckon with. They're just that good. Number 1, Houston Rockets. Holy shit, what a statement for James Harden and the Houston Rockets. No doubt about it, I'm seeing one hell of a Western Conference Finals series, folks. Can you imagine just how competitive the Warriors and Rockets would be in a best-of-7 series? Let's be real. Whoever wins the West this year wins the NBA Finals. And if the Rockets can pull off the impossible, James Harden's name will forever be written in the annals of basketball history. Mark my words. The Eastern Conference, Atlanta Hawks. This team is utter garbage. Do I need to add anything else? Orlando Magic. This team's front office is utter garbage. When they traded away Elfrid Payton to the Suns for a second-round pick they most likely won't even get, I knew that this organization would never do anything admirable. Instead, they're just going to waste away Orlando until it's a shriveling husk of a wasteland and they're forced to relocate to Kansas City. Hell, most people will mistake it for Chernobyl by the time they're done. Brooklyn Nets. Despite the fact that this team has gotten riddled with injuries to both D'Angelo Russell and Jeremy Lin, this team has somehow avoided being utter garbage. Their first-round pick belongs to the Cavs, so I'm very happy that as of now that pick is 7th and will most likely turn out to be the 8th pick. Chicago Bulls. At first, I thought this team would show everyone who doubted them up as they were surprisingly good for a portion of the season. Then the trade deadline happened. You took on bad players with huge contracts, gave up drafting rights to promising prospects, and traded away your best player in Nikola Mirotic for garbage. You deserve failure for doing that, Chicago. Fuck that. New York Knicks. It is tragic when you see good players like Kristaps Porzingis go down this late in the season with a torn ACL. All I can say for this team is get better, Kristaps, and hopefully you'll be back before you're 5 games deep into the next season. God, I've been injured only a couple times in my life, and I can tell you it's one of the hardest things to recover from injury and continue playing. Charlotte Hornets. To be honest, it's quite surprising to see a team that's so poorly run do much better than everyone expects them to. If I had it my way, these guys would be on par with an injured Brooklyn squad. Needless to say, these cheeky cunts aren't even sniffing the playoffs. Detroit Pistons, and then there were playoff contenders. To be honest, any of the next 4 teams I'm listing have just as much of a chance as the last as to why they'll make the playoffs, and it's really hard to predict who will and will not make the playoffs. Detroit, with Andre Drummond and Blake Griffin, should have a decent shot at living to fight another day, and it'll be fun to see how the next month turns out for this team. Miami Heat. With our Lord and Savior Dwayne Wade returning to his homeland in Miami, the Heat have now got that one missing piece they've always been needing since January of 2017. If I had it my way, this team would already have their ticket punched. Milwaukee Bucks. This is one of the more frustrating and inconsistent teams in the league. Sometimes they look like the kings of the East, other times they look like they're tanking. Not only that, but their core can't stay healthy all at the same time. I still think this team will punch their ticket, but man are they making fans uneasy about it. Philadelphia 76ers. To see a team go through a process as devastating as the 76ers have been going through for the past 5 years is gut-wrenching. I'm glad that Philadelphia can finally enjoy a playoff appearance. Consider their ticket punched. Indiana Pacers. I don't know how to feel about this team. Personally, I didn't see them as a playoff contender by the start of the season, but now they're the most surprising team this year. Victor Oladipo and Domantas Sabonis have both become gems for the Pacers. I don't see them making the second round, but what they've done to rebuild their franchise is damn impressive and worthy of a thumbs up. Washington Wizards. When John Wall got his shoulder hurt, I thought for sure that this team would struggle. Instead, they've become even better than before and are currently a top 10 team in the league. Perhaps we'll see another second round appearance for the Wizards, because, quite frankly, John Wall will return before the end of the regular season, and if they stay as good as they've been, man, the sky's the limit. Cleveland Cavaliers. Coming into this season, I knew that the Cavs were smoke and mirrors, and now that the Cavs have edited their roster, they're looking more formidable now, and I'm quite impressed. Look out, gentlemen. We could see another year in which LeBron James goes to the NBA Finals. Not that I enjoy saying that, but sometimes you just have to say the truth. Boston Celtics. I have to admit, when Gordon Hayward got hurt at the beginning of the season, I didn't expect Boston to compete in the East. Boy, was I wrong. Turns out that Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum's are gems for Brad Stevens' system. Who would have thought? I sure as hell didn't. Anyways, and last but not least, the Toronto Raptors. This team has been quietly winning over the hearts of NBA fans everywhere. Unfortunately, I know that this team is a mirage. Great in the regular season, followed by a shitty playoff performance. Do not fall for the hashtag We the North bullshit until they do something noteworthy. As for regular season accolades, I have MVP going to either James Harden or Anthony Davis, Most Improved Player going to Lou Williams or Victor Oladipo, Defensive Player of the Year going to Joel Embiid or Rudy Gobert, Coach of the Year going to Brad Stevens or Mike D'Antoni, and Rookie of the Year going to Donovan Mitchell or Ben Simmons. As in the playoffs, for the Western Theater, I have the Houston Rockets, Golden State Warriors, San Antonio Spurs, Oklahoma City Thunder, Portland Trailblazers, New Orleans Pelicans, Denver Nuggets, and Utah Jazz in that order. In the East, I have the Toronto Raptors, Boston Celtics, Cleveland Cavaliers, Washington Wizards, Indiana Pacers, Milwaukee Bucks, Philadelphia 76ers, and Miami Heat in that order. By the second round in the West, I see the Houston Rockets going up against the San Antonio Spurs and the Golden State Warriors going up against the Oklahoma City Thunder. In the Eastern Front, we have the Toronto Raptors going up against the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Boston Celtics going up against the Washington Wizards. Deja vu, ain't it? In the Western Conference Finals, I see the Rockets and Warriors, and to be truly honest with you, this is probably the real NBA Finals, and whoever does win that series will almost indubitably win the NBA Finals. I chose the Rockets in 7 games. And then in the Eastern Conference Finals, I have the Boston Celtics versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. Here, it's pretty much just gaming the system to who makes the NBA Finals. And really, either team can make the NBA Finals, and I wouldn't be surprised if either upset the other. Meanwhile, I chose the Celtics to win in 7 games. So, as you can determine, the NBA Finals is the Houston Rockets and the Boston Celtics, in which I have the Rockets winning in 6 games. And the Finals MVP being, of course, James Harden. Wow, this video took much longer than I thought. Anyways, I plan to make one more video about the MLB preseason. I will see you then.